Oh, welcome back to Talking Flag Season 2, Episode 4. Today, we are shifting our focus to the rapidly growing world of collegiate flag football. We are thrilled to host someone who is right at the heart of this expansion, building a program from the ground up.
That's right. We're heading to Fond du Lac in Wisconsin to talk with the man named the inaugural head coach for the Marion University Women's Flag Football Program. Let's give a warm welcome to Max Denning. Max, thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad to be talking with y'all.
Thank you, Max. Well, first of all, congratulations on being named the first head coach for Marion. That's obviously a unique opportunity.
For
We
sure.
know your program is set to launch its first season in the spring of 28, if I'm not mistaken.
26.
So,
26, yeah, this
oh,
spring.
26. I'm sorry, 26, yes. So can you tell us a little bit more about the vision you have for Marion University's program and what makes this building phase so unique or actually special as you've described it?
Definitely. I think that we're super excited about bringing flag football to Marion's campus. We don't have tackle football here at Marion, and so we're excited to be the football on campus. The opportunity to build something from the ground up is one that we really are not taking lightly. We want to make sure that we are doing things in all the right ways. We're trying to build a culture that's really based around our core values. We have four core values of community, competition, growth, and joy. And so we're really focused on those core values, making sure our athletes are ones that are bought into those core values and being really focused on the process. As a coach, I try to be as process oriented as possible. So I'm really focused on making sure that we're doing things the right way, whether that be in practice, in training, in the classroom, in our community in general here in Fond du Lac. So we are really, I'm really passionate about Marion itself. I was really struck when I first got here about the tight knit community that Marion embodies here in Fond du Lac. Already I've been able to become embedded with some of our other teams and programs here at Marion, and there's a lot of teamwork amongst our different programs, and it's one that I think really benefits our student athletes and our student population in general.
Does really sound special, doesn't it? Like the community vibe that's already there that you don't even
For
need to
sure.
build, it almost sounds like, which is a really, really good place to start. So one thing that really stands out is that you are starting from scratch, right? So what was the biggest initial challenge in establishing this program? Was it something with recruitment, facilities, something else? And then we would like to hear how you're overcoming that in this first year.
Definitely. Building something from scratch, like you said, right? Knowing where to start, knowing, I think when I first started, I really just started making a list of all of the different aspects of whether it be planning practices, planning trainings, recruiting, who are going to be our referees, where are we going to get our uniforms from, right? Like there's all of these different aspects that as when you're joining a program or when you become a coach of an established program, they're kind of commonplace. People already know where these things are coming from, or know there's already established practices in place. And so coming here, really being able to start from scratch. I'm trying to think of if there's one specific facilities wise. I think Marion does a great job of communicating, amongst our programs and amongst our teams to make sure that we're all utilizing our facilities and we all have and our athletes have access to them regardless. I think trying to it's my first time, and it's because it's the first year of our program and because there are so many programs around us that are also in their first year. Scheduling has been a unique challenge, reaching out to programs, and they have certain facility restrictions or they have certain away dates or home dates that they already have scheduled, and doing that all from scratch without a conference or without predetermined schedules like you would have, in the past or in other sports or other more established sports. I think scheduling has definitely been a challenge, but it's also really exciting because it's one where people in my position can kind of be creative and decide, make those decisions themselves and kind of look at them from a new light. Whereas in the past, it's you would have to be falling in line with what the quid pro quo would be.
That makes sense. Yeah. So you have more freedom to create something that's all yours and unique in its own way. So that makes sense.
It's also interesting. Sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, you don't really think about that, do you? Like what you're saying, there's so many programs like coming up right now. And how about the resources, the funds and those things? You actually don't think about, the potential challenges there if there's multiple of them. So that's a really interesting point that you make there. And then, sorry, was there anything else you were going to say?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask then, how do you think you're going to be overcoming that in the first year? Because it sounds like there's quite a few things to keep in consideration or to think about.
For sure. Being able to utilize, the organizational resources here at Marian have definitely been helpful. Folks who have, been in similar places or maybe not starting programs from scratch, but starting programs, rebuilding programs and trying to get them to, the professional level as much as you can to make them high functioning machines. So utilizing my fellow coaches has been really helpful. And then utilizing the flag community. I think, when I first started, I had another collegiate head coach reach out to me and she put me in touch with, a few other collegiate head coaches. And really, we've been able to still settling our schedule. We're almost completely finished, but we got a couple spots that we're still filling up. But really just trying to use the network and understand that while, my role is as the Marian flag football head coach, as coaches, we are all part of the flag football community, and we want to see this sport really continue to grow. And that means we need to collaborate and work together when we can, and when we're not competing on the field, of course.
100%. That sounds really exciting, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the sports is still small. It's growing rapidly, but we all need each other to continue that growth. So
For sure.
the collaboration part is vital. The growth of women's collegiate flag football is incredible. So Max, coming from your background, which also includes time with the Oregon Ravens of the WNFC, so what do you see as the main differences between coaching at the top level of women's tackle football and building a college program where obviously academics and maybe character development are more central?
That's a great question. I really enjoyed my time with the Oregon Ravens, and it really is what kind of inspired me to continue to try to seek opportunities to grow the game of football, especially with women's football, because we left women out of the football family for so long. Coaching the Oregon Ravens, I was a bit younger, and definitely it was an interesting experience because I would be trying to teach them about football, where I was still figuring out my career. I was still figuring out, my place in the world in a sense, where these women that I'd be coaching would be established professionals. They'd be doctors, they'd be physical therapists, they'd be wine directors, right? They would have so much to teach me off the field. And so I think with that experience, really trying to help offer them more of the X's and O's, more of some of the culture of football, where that was more of the focus with the Ravens. Where with a collegiate program, you're also out trying to help young people grow, and you're trying to help young people navigate an ever-changing world, collegiate athletics, balancing college sports and academics. In a college, you're definitely as a college coach, you definitely have more of a role to play as a kind of guide and as a mentor, and making sure that they have the resources to help their growth be intentional in college. Whereas in the WNFC, most of our players were a little bit more established, a little bit older, and the focus was maybe a little bit more just on the football side of things.
Yeah, probably more focused on the fun part because obviously, I mean, we both played tackle football as well.
For sure.
I played tackle in the US with the other
Mhm.
league, the WFA.
Oh yeah, of course.
And obviously, I know how it feels. Like for the girls, it was always, I mean, they loved playing, but like they all had jobs besides
Mm.
playing football. So it was hard sometimes for us and for them to juggle playing with your full-time job. So yeah, it makes sense what you're saying about the girls, and obviously they're not getting paid. They don't have a future
Mhm,
necessarily in the sport. It was more for fun. So yeah, there's a
mhm.
huge difference there, but it's nice to hear your point of view. Um,
Which team
yes,
did you play for in the WFA?
I played for the Nevada Storm team.
Nice.
That was my
Okay.
first season, and the second one was with the Kelly War from
Okay.
LA.
For
Yep,
sure.
and then
That's great.
and then I continued playing flag football because I got severely injured
Oh,
playing tackle football, and
mm,
it's we got work, we got other priorities, and I
for
just had to
sure.
make a choice. So for now, I'm just focusing on flag football. And I think my sister, it's probably the same for her. Like she's also focusing more on flag right now because we got so many other things to do with work and
Of
projects and
course.
podcasts. So it's really hard sometimes to juggle sports with anything else that you're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, so I played with the seniors, the Manchester Titans, which was
Mhm.
tough as well. Especially at a certain point, they were just too big and too strong. But I really enjoyed that time, and it really helped me develop my skills. And even in flag football now, it's been fantastic, the experience. But yeah, injuries, and again, there's not so much money in contact in tackle, unfortunately, whereas flag football is going to the Olympics, so it was like almost like a no-brainer for me, and I guess for you as well, Ambra, especially as we're getting older, where our approach is going to be, if we could still potentially go to the Olympics playing or as a coach, or are we just continue playing a sport just for the fun side of it?
Yeah.
Um,
And of course, right, tackle football, it's hard to get more fun. Um, but I totally hear y'all, especially as professionals. And if I get an ankle injury or a head injury or a shoulder injury, can I take time off of work for what is just leisure for me? That's definitely a difficult balance that we would recognize with the Ravens as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love tackle. And it's just so much, I don't know, there's a bit more of that adventure in it. And it's a bit more, I don't know how to explain it, but
there's more adrenaline, maybe.
I think a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah.
You're pretty much putting on body armor, right? There's very
Yeah.
few things in our world that you get to, like, put on body armor.
Yeah.
Whether if you're not, actually, you get to kind of cosplay as a gladiator, right? There's there's
Yeah.
there's few things that are better, right?
Absolutely.
It's obviously, quite popular. And so
Yeah.
no, it's definitely excited about flag. And of course, as you talk about the Olympics, and also we've got Roger Goodell talking about a professional flag league
Yep.
by 2028, which
I
seems
know.
like an aggressive timeline, but if anyone can do it, it's the NFL, right?
Yes. Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Sorry, so just to go back to the Mariam program then. So
For sure.
you stated that the program will prioritize character, academic, and athletic development. Now, in the world of college athletics, where the competitive drive is fierce, how do you blend that emphasis on character and academics while still developing athletes who can compete at a higher level?
It's a great question. I think for us, one of the things that I oftentimes will say when we're recruiting student athletes is that you're probably going to go pro. I now have to add the probably, but you're probably going to go pro in something other than flag football, right? Now that Roger Goodell made his announcement, I have to say the probably now. But for us, right, uh, playing a college sport is a fantastic way to continue your athletic development, but it's also a means for learning the life lessons that playing a college sport teaches you. And so for us, we are really focused on our process. We're focused on the development, doing things the right way consistently, and not focused on the outcomes.
Mhm.
I think when you focus on the process, when you focus on your values as a program, and you really hone those, then you're able to do character development, do academic development hand in hand with your athletic program. I think an athletic program that's focused on winning at all costs, winning no matter what, and focused on the outcomes are the ones that are going to struggle a little bit more with getting that development in the classroom, getting that development in the community. I think the best coaches, I'm in the middle of. I've read it before, but I'm in the middle of Bill Walsh's book. The score takes care of itself. The score will take care of itself. And I think the best coaches, like Bill Walsh, right, are focused on the process, are focused on um, what it takes to be a good person, what it takes to be a high performer, and not focused on outcomes.
Mm,
Mhm.
that's beautiful. And I think that's with a lot of things in life, like
For
you got
sure.
to focus on those little steps, the process, and not like what is ahead of you. Like you cannot skip those little steps or you will never get to that outcome. So that's a very beautiful vision that you have for the program. Yes, so before Marion, your resume also includes significant experience overseas, such as serving as a defensive coordinator for the Bristol Aztecs in the BAFA National League, which is the UK, where my sister is living. So, how has coaching at the highest level of British American football shaped your overall coaching philosophy?
I can't say enough about being able to coach in the UK, right? I got to coach with the Bristol Aztecs, as you said, and then I also got to coach with SGS College there in Bristol, the SGS College Pride.
Right. Yeah.
Both of those experience, being able to uh, coach people who, once again, kind of similar to coaching women's football in the US. This is a group of people who maybe American football wasn't, handed to them when they were 8 or 9 years old, like it was for me, right? When I was 9 years old, I was able to wear a helmet and pads and play tackle football, just like so many of my peers. And that, having to do that in the UK, it takes a little bit more um, perseverance. It takes a little bit more intentionality about it. And so, being able to coach at the highest levels in the UK really stretched my brain as a coach. Stretched, because while certain things might be kind of commonplace or standard with a certain level in the U.S., right? We would be coaching guys who come to American football from all different backgrounds. We have guys who played SGS College Pride for the Aztecs and had been playing football since they were 15, and then we would have guys who picked up football for the first time when they were 20 or 22, and were wonderful athletes and and had fantastic potential, but still, had different gaps in their football knowledge. I think really for me, and I'm sure you both experience this all the time, being international American football players who come to the U.S. or are playing abroad. It really was eye opening. I can't tell you how many times my American friends and relatives would say, "Oh, they play American football over there. They play football, in Europe." And of course, right, the level was awesome, right? I was always impressed. I was impressed with the coaches around me, with both the SGS College Pride and the Bristol Aztecs. Those coaches cared about the game so much, had so much passion for continuing to grow their understanding, continuing to grow the game in the UK. Um, and it definitely also helped me when it comes to understanding or having a passion and seeing, the kind of passion that it takes to be really good at that level where, I remember, for instance, before we played the Manchester Titans in a playoff game, we were at a wedding the night before in Exeter for one of our teammates, and then I drove up with two of the guys that morning from Exeter to Manchester. Right before a playoff game, and that's the kind, and it's not like you've got a fancy coach bus for the Bristol Aztecs. It's not like we've got hotel accommodations the night before, right? Those are things that might be kind of commonplace when it comes to tackle football in the U.S. But if you really love it and you really love the game and you want to grow something, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes. And I think the guys that I coached and coached with were just exemplifications of that day in and day out.
And it's exactly what you're saying. It's the passion, isn't it? Because no one gets paid. Everyone has,
Understood.
has either a job or a full-time education. It's all the passion that it drives. And we've had, even with the Italian team, we've had American coaches and they had no idea that we didn't get paid here.
Mhm.
And they were like, "Oh my God, guys, you guys just have full-time jobs?" Yes, we do. So is this just a passion? Yeah, it is just a passion, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference. So it does really sound like this international experience has given you such a unique perspective on football. But how about flag football then? Has it also given you some sort of a different perspective on the growth of flag football? Like, are there any specific maybe training or cultural or strategic lessons you've learned abroad?
Definitely. I think in the college flag game, because we're playing 7-on-7, there's different rules that I think really align pretty well with like rugby in the UK, right? Because in 5-on-5, right, there's rules about pitching the football that there isn't in the 7-on-7 game that we're playing at the university level. And so the ability to pitch the football, the ability to kind of manipulate space, it's definitely ones that I've been, I think when I first took the job, one of the first things I messaged some of the guys I coached in the UK is like, you can definitely rugby pitch a football, right? You can pretty much use the same, form, and they were all like, yeah, of course. So I'm definitely, I think just flag is one that is continuing to grow and is continuing to, I think a lot of the time it can be easy to see flag football and to see, okay, this is tackle football without the offensive and defensive line. We're going to play it just like we play tackle football. And really taking this job and kind of embedding myself in the community, you realize like, no, there's a lot of innovation that is still happening, that is happening right now, that can still happen, because the game is really its own unique
Mhm.
beast, right? We have the potential to really shake things up. I think as we kind of as flag continues to move more and more into a direction where it is its own unique sport and less like an offshoot of tackle football, I think you will continue to see more innovation. Obviously the Olympics have the 2 quarterback plays. They have, I'm on all the flag football play Instagrams and I'm scrolling. I'm watching, highlights from y'all, I was watching Team GB highlights where I have a couple guys that I coached for the Aztecs that play for Team GB, and just trying to take in as much information as possible to continue to innovate and to continue to push the game forward when we can.
Brilliant. That's great, Max. Thank you so much. So finally, looking ahead to that 2026 launch, what is the one major goal you and your team are striving for in the first, let's say, 3 to 5 years? Excuse me, both for the Marion program and maybe also for the broader impact of women's flag football in the Midwest region.
For sure. Yeah. Like I said, we're really focused on our process. We're really focused on making sure that we're doing things the right way, and we're building a culture where people care about their community, care about those around them, understand that sometimes what's best for them individually is not best for the group. Focused on the growth, focused on, I think we just finished up 2 months of our initial kind of strength and conditioning program for our freshmen, and really seeing a lot of growth there. And so I think for us, 3 to 5 years, it'll be amazing to see where NCAA flag football is at, right? I think that will be, I can't wait. And that is, will be, I'm excited to see, a national championship at the NCAA level. I'm excited to see the growth of the game across the country. I think, we're pushing 100 schools with flag football here in the US as a varsity sport. I'm sure that number will be, if not doubled, at least doubled, right? If not more. But when it comes to Marion itself, I hope in 5 years that the people that have been a part of our program say that program was somewhere that made me a better person, made me a better athlete. I hope that those around us and those in our community believe that flag football and our flag football program made Marion and Fond du Lac a better place to be. And when it comes to our athletes, and our on the field success, I think that comes secondary for us. Like I've said, right? I think the commitment to the process and commitment to doing things the right way will always be paramount for us.
Yeah, fantastic, Max. Yeah, that sounds awesome. All right, well, I think it's time for our signature rapid fire round. So we'll throw like 10 quick questions at you. No overthinking, just
No
whatever
overthinking.
comes up in your mind first, okay?
For sure.
So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Okay, number one. What is the one trait you look for most when recruiting a player?
Persistence.
I like it. The single biggest difference in coaching defense in the UK versus the US?
They're better. UK guys are a little bit better at tackling.
Oh,
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, Marion flag football in just one word.
Community.
Your biggest motivation for taking on the challenge of a brand new program?
Mm, I don't just have to give you one word, even though
Oh no, you don't.
I've been
You
doing
can
one
say.
word. But I think my motivation. I think you know I was working I was in a really good spot. I was my life was extremely comfortable, and I was content. But I think I was talking to one of my uncles, and he said, well, but you don't want to look back at your life and think, oh yeah, you just you were content. Things went well. You want to look back at your life and think, I went for it, and so we're going for it.
Love that.
Amazing.
Yes. Okay. Finish this sentence. Flag football should be in the Olympics because.
It's exciting, difficult, and growing.
Nice.
The Marion's Flag program's mission in 3 words.
3 words. Improving students' lives.
Nice. I like that. Okay. What's the single most important thing to teach a rookie about flag football?
Mm, Not to stiff arm. I think that's like a classic. I was watching ESPN the other day. And it was just like a little kid who didn't know he couldn't stiff arm yet, and he's just Derrick Henrying everything he sees.
Oh God.
So that could be like a little more dangerous. If you're a grown up and you haven't played flag yet, and you just So
Good
no stiff
stuff.
arms.
No cigars. If you could steal one skill from any coach in the world, football or otherwise, what would it be?
Mm. I would steal. I think I would steal Andy. I'm gonna take 2 things from Andy Reid. I'm a big Andy Reid fan. I would steal Andy Reid's patience and his ability to not judge a book by its cover, to not judge his players how they come to him. I think those 2 traits from Andy Reid are just super admirable, and really I think make for a great coach.
Interesting.
Very much. Okay, we have a few more. What do you want your players to remember most about being part of Marion's team?
I want them to walk away from Marion thinking that they were a part of something that was bigger than themselves, that they grew as individuals and they grew as a community. And I want them to know that they now have a community and they have a network, and they're a part of the football family, and that they can lean on that football family, whether they go on to be a nurse or a rad tech or working for a professional sports team or whatever their life brings them. I hope that they know that they can always lean on their community when they need it.
That's
It's for
lovely.
life.
That's lovely.
Nice.
Okay, last question. Finish this sentence. If I weren't coaching football, I'd probably be.
Hmm. If I weren't coaching football, I would probably be, you know, I was a journalist before, so I'd probably,
Oh,
be traveling and writing and trying to be writing about travel or both of those are kind of amalgamations of my background. So yeah,
Also not bad.
not bad.
Oh. Well, Max, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your journey as you build what will surely be an exciting program at Marion University. It's really a vital part of flag football's college future.
for sure. No,
Absolutely. And can you please tell us, or at least our followers, where they can find you and follow along with the Marion University's women's program?
for sure. So for the Marion University, you can find our team at Marion Flag Football. So MARIAN Flag Football, all one word. And then myself, I'm at Coach Max Denning, and you can find me on Instagram. Those are the best places. Instagram's the best home for us right now. And yeah, hope that we can see y'all at some games. See y'all at least obviously from there. Hope you guys can stream some games this spring. Definitely
Mm.
we'll be tagging y'all in some highlights for sure.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do our best to watch some. Thank you, Max. Well, guys, this was Max Denning from the Marian University Women's Flag Football Program. Make sure to subscribe and follow us on Talking Flag on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all the possible platforms. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in and see you all next time.
And if you know somebody or are somebody who's involved in the development of flag football and you'd like to come onto our show to tell our listeners all about it, then please reach out by sending us a DM. Keep chasing those flags. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Max. It was lovely having you.
For sure. Lovely to be here. Have a good one, y'all.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you too.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.